Welcome to Between the Lines, a podcast hosted by former world number one Ramy Ashour and performance coach Ahad Reza.
We break down what's really happening in high-level squash across the technical, tactical, physical and mental realms and help you translate it into action.
You'll hear match analysis, guided insights, coaching demonstrations and conversations with some of the best minds in sport.
But this isn't just about the theory. It's about growing a community of curious players and coaches dedicated to unlocking their potential together.
So if you're ready to train smarter, think deeper, and play better, join us Between the Lines. Folks, Laura and I just had a fantastic conversation with Haitham Effat, former coach to Ramy Ashour, Raneem El Welily, currently coaching Mostafa, Asal, Nouran Gohar, legendary coach in the game. Laura, what was something that stood out to you from the call?
Yeah, I just loved his inclusivity of the whole of the game, from the mental side, the movement, the tactical, the technical. So really kind of, all-encompassing view to coaching and just that constant development of a coach as well, who's looking to develop himself all the time. So I think it'd be really interesting listen. How about you?
Yeah, and I think actually exactly on that note, the one thing that he mentioned of having almost like a ball machine as a trainer, and then having a trainer who is more skill development, and then a coach that's more big vision, big picture. I thought that evolution and that dichotomy was pretty interesting. But yeah, to your point, there was just so much in there. And folks, listen on. You're going to get a lot of gems from this one. Thanks. Hey everyone, quick interruption. If you've ever felt stuck in your squash, you're training hard but not improving fast enough, Laura and I built something just for you.
Our new online coaching community gives you the structure, clarity, and live access to us every month so you can finally break past plateaus without paying private coaching fees.
If that sounds like what you need, just email me at ahad@arperformance.com and I'll help you get started. Now, back to the program.
Today on Between the Lines, we are joined by Haitham Effat, a squash coach from Egypt, now based in California and one of the most accomplished coaches in the game. Over the years, he's worked with some of the biggest names in squash, including Ramy Ashour, Raneem El Welily, Tarek Momen, Marwan ElShorbagy, Nour El Tayeb, Hania El Hammamy, Youssef Soliman, and more recently Nouran Gohar and Mostafa Asal. Haitham is one of the rare coaches who's guided both male and female world champions. He's unassuming, hardworking, and incredibly wise. Someone whose impact goes far beyond the court. And I'm really excited to pick his brains and share his insights with everyone today. So Haitham, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for the amazing introduction.
You deserve it for sure.
Yeah, it's lovely.
I'm so excited to pick your brains genuinely as one of the... I feel like it's a rare thing to have so many accolades in the game, male, female, junior, amateur, the lot. You've covered everything. So that's where the wise side comes from, because that's not just a coach that does that. So really excited to speak to you.
I'm very excited as well.
How did you, for anyone listening, how did you start off coaching, and who were your early influences within coaching that got you kind of excited in that side?
Yeah. To be honest, when I started coaching, it's a matter of luck, I would say. I am computer science engineering either ways. So at my end of university degree, I slowed down the squash. I was going to Amir Wagi sometimes to play with the kids, foreigner kids. One day, Amir, his shoulder hurt, so he told me, "Could you have the session instead of me?" I said, "Why not? I will go to the step in the court and make 2 sessions." Like, I love Amir, so I don't mind. When I go to the court, I play the 2 sessions. Amir was there, and he said, "Haitham, you have to forget about player career, and you have to focus in your coaching career. You might be one of the best coaches in the world later on."
Wow.
Yeah, that's how I stepped in the court as a coach. I never thought that I would be a coach, to be honest. And actually, I have a degree that I thought that I would be software engineering or something after I finished my degree. And I actually worked to Oracle partner as well after my graduation from university. But I enjoy squash more, and I was picking more results in squash. Actually, I was looking after David Pearson when I'm a young age. I feel that we have in character some similarities, and also the fact that he wasn't the greatest player in the world, and he was one of the greatest coaches in the history, and that I admire a lot. So I was when I'm young, I was looking for a David person. One he achieved was male and female, and he is always there, and he is always wise. He always calm. I have the same similarities, I would say.
Uh,
That's great.
Actually,
yeah,
I catch up with him in the U.S. Open.
yeah.
Really, just the one just gone, the junior.
Yes, yeah. Like Kenyan States, I see everybody, right?
I love that. So with out of curiosity, Haitham, what did when you said Amr was he saw something in you that first session where
Yeah,
you
Amir.
coached? What
Yep.
was it that he saw in you? What was his feedback to you at that time?
He didn't mention so much about what I did. I think
Mm,
he see that have rhythm in the coaching, and I have pace. I wouldn't say that at that time I have the experience or the knowledge, right? When you finish your career, you might have thoughts, you have to ideas, you're good in thinking, but I mean, it's not a complete vision at the beginning. Then
mhm.
you figure it out, and also when you meet more champions, more good players, you gain experience, and they gain experience from you as well. I don't see it as one way.
I love that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was actually going to ask exactly the same thing. I was like so interested to see because, I mean, obviously my path has been a little bit different, and the people who have coached from the very beginning have got it's just a different path altogether, isn't it? Like you've got the knowledge
100%.
of playing, but you've. I always feel like I'm a really young coach, you know, kind of because I
Yeah.
haven't coached for very long, so I'm learning. And obviously, you have the experiences of the playing that you're trying to give the players. But I love to hear the stories of people like DP. I could listen to for hours as well, just talking about what he's learned and what he sees and how he sees it and everything like that. So when you think about your coaching now, and this is obviously going to maybe change for different players, but do you have a fundamental thing with the movement or the swing that you're like, if you work with me, this is what you kind of is a non-negotiable? So obviously it changes for every player, but anything that's for every player.
Yeah, like there is a common lines I think like everybody like will agree about. The first step, the fall throughs, and in different ways. But I mean, everyone have. I don't think like any coach will go uh, in different paths about the first step, how to prepare your racket preparation. That's like a common for every coach, I would say. Maybe like some will make it more complicated, some people will make it more easier. But I think like at the end, there is a guidelines that you can't like a big like honestly speaking, like it's very awkward. You find someone tell you the swing very uh opposite than the other coach. It would be like variation of open racket, close racket, wrist height, shoulder height, right? Like it's a combination of different things. But the guidelines it would be the same. I would say as a coach, like I'm more flexible. Like I try to see what fits you more than what is right, what's wrong. Because there's two schools I would say. Like some coaches say that's the right thing and you have to do it,
Yes.
and I try to figure out what fit with the player. I feel like our hand size is different, our movement is different, our steps is different, our speed is different, so we can't play the same way. Like I remember that I always like try to challenge myself or not. I'm happy to challenge myself and take more challenges. So I believe that when I take Gohar is so different than my way. Like people get used to see my players play with my way. To adapt someone like Gohar to play with my way is so I feel it's creative to mix up between power and
Yeah.
the fluent that I like to play. So I mean the common lines like the out guiding like is all I would say is very awkward. Sometimes I see it's like people say things that I don't like, but I'm not against as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm. And Haitham, when you speak about, your way, for people that are listening, what is your way of playing?
Yeah. Uh, if like people like soccer, I like that Guardiola type to be like fluent in moving, fluent the ball, and the rhythm is there, and you feel like the skill is there. Like I try to make it as much fluent as I can. Like the more fluent you are, the more thoughtful you are, the more you, like the more you have more plans. The more you rigid, the more you strict, the more you have less plans. So I always try to not to create one type of game. I try to solve the whole puzzle because the other player as well is not easy. He's thinking as well. He's studying. He see me, so I try to open every single plan and every single shot, every single like shot. I would say.
Mm. And when you were speaking about, having there's a similarity in terms of technique, but there are
Yeah,
some differences within the techniques. Who are some of the players that are at the extremes who had either very rigid technique that you've worked with or very, very fluent technique that you've worked with? And kind of how did you bridge that, or how did you bring your style into those players?
yeah. I would say like flexibility. Like you find like someone like Ramy and Shabana, they're all their way, right? Like you, it's unusual to go to Ramy and tell him like change your swing. You might like give him a tips or tricks, right? Or Mustafa as well. Like he is very flexible in the way he hit the shot. So is very fluent. I would say uh, Marwan and Nouran Gohar is more to the English style, like the good technique, but with certain pattern of swing.
Mhm.
Some people have this, like, and some people have that, right? It would not it will not affect the way you're hitting, or not affect the skill itself, or the way but it's just different swings, I would say.
Mhm.
Like the more you stick to English coaches, I think in young ages they focus too much in technique, where the Egyptian, like, they think about where you hit, how to play, more than how you swing look nice.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's really interesting. So if I was to pick your brain on some young juniors that maybe you're working with now, or maybe you would even let's take some advice of some young English juniors coming up. And you're right, I think there is a heavy, because maybe the numbers are not as high, there's less
Yeah,
opportunity to play as well, so that's part of the issue. But if you were working with a youngster, a junior now, are you very much kind of less about the technical than say you would be with one of the senior players you were working with, or would you still go down the technical route with a junior?
I would say like it depends on the kid himself. Like when you have someone already developed his swing, I'm not like for example for Tarek Momen, I think his swing wasn't the typical swing, either
Yeah.
for Egyptian or, but in his way, he's amazing, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't bother myself to change his swing, to be honest. As long as he can hit every single shot perfectly. Why? I try to evolve his techniques and help him to have creativity in every single shot. Maybe accuracy, maybe timing, maybe positioning. I don't have to be focused on in technique. But back to the question of the junior itself. As long as the kid can play every single shot in his way, I'm fine. As long as like there's no burden in his swing, no burden in his movement, I don't have to go and change it.
Yeah.
Even I don't like it.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. How does that link in with juniors where I see a lot of juniors kind of obviously struggle on the movement side because of the strength potentially. Obviously, it's not quite there yet. And then therefore the gaps on the court get quite big. So how do you, maybe it's not necessarily a problem, but how do you help create that rhythm? I mean,
Yeah,
obviously when I
get you.
think when I talk about technique, I'm like linking movement and technique together,
Technique,
not
yeah, I get
just
you.
swing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. What are your thoughts there?
But I think about the movement. I used to hear from my coaches in young, your movement is not good, you're slow.
Oh,
Like, yeah, seriously. Then I by time I see people how they move, I don't think like squash is about speed.
no.
Mhm.
This like I mean when you're faster is better, of course, but I mean like not the fastest person in the world is number one, right? Like I don't think like Nick Matthew was the fastest or James Wilson were the fastest, but they in a way they reach in the time and hit perfect shots. And also, you don't like if you look like weird in running, I mean slower in running, but in actual time they're faster than 99% of the normal human beings or squash players, I mean. So I mean that the movement is different than speed. The more that your eyes and feet like uh, reaction is very fast. Your movement is fluent. Actually, been reaching shots more than the certain person that's running fast.
Yes.
Hmm.
So I don't feel the speed is an issue in squash. Of course, it's an advantage when you're faster, but I mean, is not disadvantage that you're not as quick as others. In juniors, I think the coaches think you're slow, but they don't try to think what is the way out, how he should play his game, what his weight of shot, what is like which space he should play, which shot selection. I feel like most of the kids that I struggled with is they don't have the knowledge or the experience or they are not smart enough to play which space, which timing, which shot selection is not there, which shot you have to leave to the back, which shot you have to volley and how to move to like to solve the puzzle. I would say that's the more struggle than someone is fast or when someone's slow. To be honest,
Hmm. Well, I love the fact that you're calling out kind of anticipation and understanding the game and seeing the patterns of play and recognizing how to adjust and adapt in
yeah,
different scenarios. And so for people listening, someone might say, so yeah, you're absolutely right. This is but how the heck do I learn that? Right? Because
yeah,
it's a complex task, and one of the answers is you need a coach who knows about the game to kind of guide you with it.
yeah.
Well, are there certain is there like a favorite drill that you have, or is there are there certain patterns that you're like you really have to understand how to see this in order to start seeing the game? Are there little maybe one or two tools or tricks
Yeah.
you can share with the
I,
audience?
I like the way that again, like to any parent or any someone hear us. To be honest, squash is 5 shots. To make drills creative, you might make post drive, post like drive cross or volley drive or cross, whatever. Like it's very common. I don't think any coach in the world doesn't know the drills. It's a way of doing the drill. It's not the drill itself. It's the pace they play the drill and understanding why you hit the shot here or there or how to improve the shot. It's not about the drill itself. I would say maybe the pace of the coach matters a lot. Maybe his weight of shot matters a lot. But I mean, in terms of drills, it's very basics. Like you can get something out of the box, unless you might sometimes you make ghosting to improve your stamina or something with drills or random techniques. That's good. I would say for myself, the most key for me is playing matches and the coach watch you more than the drill because I build my drills depends how you do in the matches. So at least the coach have to watch you once or twice, at least twice, I would say, matches
Yeah.
in a week, and that will help any kid to improve because the coach know what what like has to work on. If he doesn't know, that's a problem. But I mean, usually he should know, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you know, then you change the drill. What is weak? What is better? What we have to enhance? What we have to work on? That's why even in soccer, I relate it always with different sports. They play practice matches. It's not about they want to see he wins or lose because most of the kids afraid from losing. So most of the kids don't play enough matches. Then they suddenly find the kids struggling in the tournament. Of course, you didn't see him in training playing practice matches. How are you going to solve the problem if you don't see him like in action time?
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, no, absolutely. I think I do have one question just around this side of coaching, which is,
Yeah.
do you take a different approach with men and women, or is it kind of like here's the game, here's the puzzle, and the puzzle is the same. I don't care if you're a man, I don't care if you're a woman, you still have to learn the game kind of a particular way.
I never compared the women to men, to be honest. Both fascinating by their own. Like I would say, if I'm a coach, I would say if I watch a women game, For a spectator from outside, you can recognize every single shot with the fluent and the swing. You can see it. And man game is faster, right?
Mhm.
So I don't compare both of them. I would say there's some similarities, but also we can't discard the speed and the power and the reach of the men. So the pace would be higher, the reach would be bigger, and also the rallies will be longer. So maybe there is. I don't feel like there is different tactics, but as I think about it, the level of speed and pace for an average man is higher than the women. So also like movement for to move a woman, it will be easier than the men. I would say it's all about the pace and speed, but tactics maybe is a lot of similarities, and also like 90% of the men is taller. So also to open up the court is harder. Is different game, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree. I mean, I obviously I would be completely biased that I love that you liked DP's coaching.
Yeah,
I think it's so I think that you are really similar. Danny always used to say to me when I was playing on tour and you were coaching Raneem and Tarek perhaps, but you know, Raneem always felt like we were playing each other and you
yeah,
were there for Raneem and Danny was there for me. And he said it never really mattered that we were like competitive. I could go and after the match or before the match or a day before the match and have a chat with Haitham and just have a really good chat about coaching. You're
yeah.
always really open, honest. Obviously, you've come on the podcast today as well, like willing to share to everybody listening. And it's brilliant. And DP was really like that. He was like, you know, coaching isn't a closed book. The more that squash evolves, the more that coaches can share, the more that you think that you don't know everything, the better coach you are in DP's opinion, because you're always looking for new ideas, new learnings, things
100%.
like that. And I love that. So you've had a huge amount of success with women. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's only you and DP that have had male and female world champions. Myself and Nick at the same time were world champion with DP, and then Tarek and Raneem for you.
Sorry for name. And yeah, the I never in my way I never search for other coaches' achievements, to be honest.
No,
So no.
no, but
Yeah.
it's a rare thing
Yeah,
because
it's rare. Yeah.
it's very rare that a coach has success with men and women, like at the
Yeah.
highest level. And so I think firstly that deserves a huge
Thank you.
congratulations. But I also
Thank
just want to say or ask, what was it about coaching the
you so much.
women, not so much on the court?
I would say I would think whose coach could achieve both, but it didn't hit my head now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I think there was a bit of a lag there on the
Yeah.
streaming, but I was going to ask you, what is it about the female side, obviously being a male,
Yeah.
that makes you makes the females that you coach comfortable around what you do? Is there a way that you are with their personality or with their emotions? Do you feel like you're actually quite soft yourself in terms of, you know, emotionally able to
No.
understand the complications?
I would say like it's soft myself. I think like women game is tough as well. It's the same as men. It's different, of course, as I said, pace and techniques and everything. But I mean, in terms of toughness, every single person that achieve a lot in the women game is very tough. They have like I would say they switch, as I know, like Laura from the beginning. We didn't like, have that friendship until almost she retired.
Yeah.
So I mean, they pick the character to the court
Yeah.
like tough, but outside they are nice. So I mean, they have the clicking, switching between the toughness inside the court and the outside world, right?
Yeah.
So for me, it's getting to emotional side. I would say I'm the only person in my family is not that emotional, but all of my family, yeah, my brother is emotional, my mom is emotional, my wife is emotional. So, so I would say like I can better deal with the emotion, and also I love the fact in terms of squash. This is not only in squash. when you get closer to the players and you become a family, you understand their character better.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that at the beginning the chemistry, as I always say, like you have to build your chemistry with the player first to understand the patterns, right? To understand how he thinks, what he make him upset. Maybe I'll do something that unconsciously make him or her I wouldn't upset, and in my mind I didn't do anything.
Yeah.
So by the time you build up a relationship, you understand if you post at this time, it might bother the player.
Yeah.
Even is in normal life, I wouldn't say that's fine.
Yeah.
But people get emotion. But I mean, back to the girls, the women game. I feel some days is so terrible, right? And some days is amazing. I wouldn't say it's only in women; it's men as well.
Yeah.
Like anybody in the world, if he lost like a match in final, I always say it's tough for us as a coaches more than the other thing. Because if I go to the final and I lost the finals, it's worse than you lost the first round.
Yeah.
And people see the achievement, but they don't know that's an upset.
Yeah. Maybe I used slightly the wrong word when I said the softness side. I meant when I
Yeah.
meant soft. Maybe calmness is a better word.
Calm is okay.
So when I saw the softness of kind of like being able to understand the women, but also just that calmness around male and female, actually, that like you said, those tough losses, those brilliant wins,
Yeah.
the 9-all in the fourth or 9-all in the fifth, 10-all in the fifth, anything. I feel like you could look out as a coach, as a spectator looking at you as a coach, and the emotions would be the same. And then therefore, very similar to DP in a way where you could almost just go for a coffee or a beer after the match. And he would go, it's just a squash match, Laura. You wanted to win. She wanted to win. We'll go back. We'll get better. And it was that calmness that I personally think really helps women. And that's kind of what I wondered if there was any
100%.
element of that.
No, I would say the same. Like I think about the match. It's a job. I give 100% of what I do during the match. The outcome is not our hands. Sometimes I train too. I do my best, and she does her best, or he do his best, and the result is not coming our side. Internally, I'm very upset. Of course, of course. Like I would say, like even DP, if I speak with him, it's not taking a coffee because we try to let it go and think about the bigger picture. It wouldn't like to be the last match in your world and career, and even though be happy with your career. But I mean, I think I have to relax and also give credit to the player that he already make a lot of sacrifice and make an effort inside the court. He did not intentionally go and perform badly. He just like that's his best in this day.
Yeah.
He hit him with maybe his hit was stress. Maybe he couldn't manage inside. He doing like the other players surprise him. So I go back and try to enjoy my time and have a wide mind and space in my mind to think what was wrong today, what I have to do. Then I go back to home. I know I'm not happy, but I spend thinking and I get back with a plan. Because at the end, I want to solve the problem. I'm not like here to to give hard time to the player. I want to help him. So it take me like a couple of hours until actually sometimes it's very hard to describe. But as I said, always I see the squash in slow motion than others. I would say if I sit beside someone, he see it so fast. I see it so slow.
Yeah.
So in patterns, it's in my head. During the match, I know some days we will not win today. Honestly,
Yeah.
it's not our day. I see the pattern that the player is playing. I know the stress level of my player. I know that he will not solve it today.
That's
So
interesting.
yeah, I know. I would say 90% I know.
Yeah.
But
Is there like an older example without a current one of your players where you can share with us kind of how you knew or what the puzzle was? So I think a lot of people listening, when you're talking about you see the game slower, people can maybe conceptually maybe understand
yeah,
that, but when you
yeah,
give details of how.
like for example, like give you not my player
Mm,
against my or any player. Like when Gawad comes to the world champ in 2016, if I'm not wrong. 2000 in what they gave him when he world champ.
Mhm.
The
Yeah.
pattern he was playing is unbeatable at that time. The pattern in this tournament especially
Mm.
is unbreakable. The way that he rush you with his balls and go to your back wall, it was just the rule of the same line, right? So he always rush you with the boost. And if he drop is a stroke, he outplay you. You can't play in the front corner anymore. You have to play back. At that time, I know it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. Yeah, he take out of option. How are you gonna drop? Like
Yeah.
you go
Yeah.
to your back. So if that pattern happen, you definitely know that it's not our way. If for example Sherbini, her eyes in the ball, I see it coming, and he couldn't solve it early, it's a nightmare.
I see the Shabini eyes go on and
Yeah. If she find it and he didn't solve it early, because if you solve it early, you're still in the game.
yeah,
But if it become worse,
yeah,
it
yeah.
become worse.
I was dead sure I had you had the next question lined up with what Haitham said there about wanting to kind of fix the problem. The question before just about wanting to fix the problem. So when Raneem came on the podcast, she spoke about I really have always wanted to know how Raneem managed to regroup after losing those match balls against Nicole David. I think
Yeah.
it was at the Waggy Degler Club as well. And
Yes.
so obviously now we're both retired and maybe the pain is gone. And I was able to ask her how, like Danny and I always were gobsmacked at how she managed to regroup herself mentally to be able to push on after that loss. And she said that she credited mainly, to you, because straight away
Thank you.
after that loss, she said that you kind of got her and just said, okay, you lost worlds, we're going to go for world number one. And it
Yeah.
was straight away within a few hours. So what was you thinking there? Did you always know you were going to say that regardless of whether she won or lost, or was it an in the moment thing? What a brilliant way to kind of refocus her.
Like I was like psychology. Someone of the psychologists told me that the brain always push you to the negative side. Few people can change it to the positive side. I always words click in my head. So I want to be always a positive person that push myself to the positive side, not drained by my brain to go to the negative side. Then you're in a loop that you will not break it for a long time. But either ways, back to the match of 2014 in the World Champ. In our club, it's what 10-6. I believe that Raneem did 100% of what she has to do. Bad choices, yes. Could finish it, yes. I remember the shot that she has and she missed it.
Yeah.
And I mean, but she did 100%. The match was long. She's 2-1 up against one of the best player in the history, or the best female in history, right? By numbers. So after this, I went to Raneem. I said, I'm so proud of you. You did 100% of what you did. I'm so happy and so glad to be on your side. And that's true. In my inner side, like I couldn't ask better, right?
Yeah.
Someone give his best and his full for tears from losing, and she feel like she felt like let us down,
Yeah.
and which is bad, very bad feeling to feel
Yeah.
like you feel like that down. Like I don't like it. Like I like we are a team. Like we do mistakes. Even I'm not playing inside, but actually I'm part of the play. I'm not. You're not. I'm the coach and he's the player, so he's his fault. No, if we lost, we lost.
Yeah.
But when I go back, I remember that was my friend wedding. I couldn't go. I couldn't go to the match. Yes, I canceled and apologized. Right, like I lost the final, and I go home, take shower. I always like try to give space to myself.
Yeah.
And nowadays it was Musa and my wife. Not much space when I go home. But I mean, a person that I try to give space and think. And I think wisely, what if we won the world champ? The best player in the world is not the winner of the world champ, to be honest. There's some people win the world champ and didn't achieve the world champ, world number one. And all credit for them, they are great players. But I mean, the hardest achievement in your life is to be world number one. And for me, even like we win the world champ, we have to some way to go to number one, right? So I would say if like either ways, if she win or lose, I was thinking, what's the next step? If she win the world champ, what's the next step? You either ways have to be world number one.
Yeah.
And get Nicole David. So I after a couple of hours, like in 2 hours, I just reached home. I called Raneem. Raneem, actually, I think about it. The bigger dream is to be world number one. Is not to win the world champion. Actually, world champion in some sports is not there. Like if you think of tennis, there's no world champion
No.
because sometimes it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Like you feel like I feel like Shorbagi sometimes it's hard on him. He won in one season. I remember 7 platinums, lost the world champ.
Yeah.
And people like give credit to the one who won the world champ, not Shorbagi. So sometimes it's hard, right?
Yeah.
I love the fact of the world champ, but like in meanwhile, in that time, I think, oh, if we get Nicole from world number one down, that's a bigger achievement than even to win the world champ.
Yeah.
Then I at that time we worked together to get her down, and that will very positive thinking. But I think as well in terms of this match, what I said to Raneem as well. If I go back to the match, the only thing that I'm sad about, even you lost the fourth game, you shouldn't give up on the fifth.
Yeah. Yeah, she mentioned that actually. It wasn't the fourth that you were most not annoyed, but most disappointed with. It was the performance in the fifth, having lost those match balls. And that,
yes,
as hard as that is as a player, I think that sometimes it's only through those tougher experiences that you actually gain the knowledge to be like, okay, that's happened. It can now happen again. I can't let the fifth go like I did last time. So yeah, she mentioned that as well, which it was so interesting. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, and also like if you think of the match of Ramy was playing with Shorbagi. He was 2-1 and 10-6, and he lost the game, but he won the fifth.
Yeah, so everyone forgets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it is not only someone did it, like a lot of people did a lot. They lost the game, but he didn't lose the match. So I always think there's another chance. So if you lost the world champ, you have another world champ, right? If you have a platinum, you have the next one. Step for it.
Yeah.
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 Because I remember that Raneem in general reached world number one right after it. I get injured at that time for 6 months. I couldn't play. I was stuck coaching for 6 months at this time. When I get back, Raneem was number 5 in the world. So you have to get it over, right? Like I wouldn't say that end of the career. You become world number 5, fight again, then go to world number 1. I see it as well. I also like entertain with other sports. I would say Djokovic, Nadal, Federer, they are exceptionally ideal for any sport. Like in old age that people think like they should retire, they out of the top 8, they get back to the highest performance and world number 1.
Yeah.
With no doubt, which is fascinating for me.
Yeah.
Right.
Quick pause here because I want to share something important. Every squash player knows the feeling. You're training hard, maybe you've nailed a shot in solo, but then under pressure, in a match, it all falls apart.
You keep asking yourself, what should I really be working on? That's exactly why Laura and I created our online coaching community. Instead of giving you a random set of drills, we've built frameworks that show you how to put the pieces together, so your training time actually translates into match day confidence.
You'll also enjoy live monthly group coaching calls where you can interact directly with us and get answers tailored to your game.
If you want to stop guessing and start improving with structure, email me at ahad@arperformance.com. I'll personally walk you through whether this community is the right fit for you. All right, let's get back to it. And specifically, Haitham, like with the example we were talking about, Raneem and Nicole, you said you guys, the puzzle you were solving was how to bring Nicole down from number 1.
Yeah.
What was that puzzle like for you guys at the time? How did you go about thinking about that, and what sort of strategies did you guys implement at that time?
At that time, like I remember, like of course that's a long time ago, but I remember that Nicole David is one of the greatest, but it is not the best players, not the best female, and in terms of quality of shots, I would say. Or like she's very stubborn every single rally. She's very good in defense, but you can apply a lot of pressure on Nicole, I would say. I would say as well it was harder in terms of heighten. Heighten, it was harder with Nicole because she's very good mover.
Yeah.
She can pick a lot. In terms of actually of applying pressure, I think like a lot of people when they start think about it, they apply a lot of pressure on Nicole in terms of taking the ball early, push into the corners, then push it to the front and keep moving, holding him back. Use the lift against her, like use her forehand against her. The forehand, you can get it, like especially in the forehand corner front. I would say she struggled a lot in this area. It was obvious in the terms of when the tin go lower. It was harder in the terms of the tennis go higher, right? Like because high tin is so different game. Like I always got like a lot of conversation with juniors. Please stop watching PSA sometimes because they don't understand. High tin is different the game than low tin. In high tin, you have to play back most of the time and using the timing and slow down the game. But in high tin is so different. And also they don't recognize the difference between the glass court and the traditional court. They think like if you do the same shot, it would go to traditional court. It's so different game.
Yeah.
So back to Nicole, I think we try to get a new structure of game, how to push Nicole behind you, how to take it off like from the corner to the corner, how to keep digging with her because to beat Nicole, it wouldn't take 25 minutes, 30 minutes. It would take hour plus. So you have to be very solid mentally to apply this like pressure for a long time. She will never give up until she feels there is no other way except losing.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah. No, it's really interesting because I personally obviously had quite a lot of chats with Danny and DP when the tin lowered in around, it was kind of around that 2014 time. Did Raneem play the low tin in the with the world champs she lost the match
No,
balls? Can you remember? So
no,
it was
it's
2015.
heightened.
2015.
It's heightened. Yeah, it's 2015.
Yeah.
Because
So
there's a scene.
we had a lot of conversations about how I feel like a lot of coaches were looking at, well, lowering the tin, how do we attack the low tin? And DP's conversation and Danny's conversation with myself was about how do we defend the low tin? Because people are going to be putting in shots that are now lower, deeper in the court. The court is effectively bigger. How do I be able to defend Raneem's amazing shots on a 17-inch tin? How can I get them back with my movement? So we were really looking at it from that perspective with that change in tin. And I wondered if you adjusted anything in any of the players you were working with at that time, particularly maybe on the female side. On the men's obviously always been 17-inch tin a lot longer.
Yes.
But with that change, how Raneem's movement definitely changed over the years, and it like got so much more fluid, and she's so explosive anyway. But yeah, was there anything you did with that movement on the low tin?
Yeah, of course. Like I remember that the season that Raneem dominated like for 2 years. It was about her movement and mental strength more than we developed. We developed movement more. I would say that
we had a chat about her increased mental strength that was very annoying for me.
Yeah. The mental strength and the movement was the key of to stay longer without like losing energy.
Yeah.
The more fluent like you move, the more that you not consuming energy.
Yeah.
When I say I guess some people in terms of ways of even technicality of movement, because I believe if you do this, how long do you survive in this way?
Yeah.
And if you survive, could mentally you manage between the running too much and consuming energy? That's the question. So I know that people that fluent in movement, they will save more energy. Like one of the best like mover in the world is Ali Farag, I would say.
Yeah.
I don't think he consumed that much energy. His
Okay.
his movement is so smooth that he can survive for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Other people can finish their all gas in 30 minutes. But back to Raneem, when the Luton came, the problem was I was injured for 6 months. I didn't watch. I was trying to survive my hands. So when I came, I went to the TUC. I remember this match. I went towards Raneem. This was a horrible tournament, to be honest. All my players lost. Like the best was last 16,
Wow.
and all of them is top 4, right? So I lost everything. But that was the first tournament. I remember that Raneem lost from Joshna in Qatar. Then I said I will go to the TUC. Then I watched the TUC, and the game is already changed a lot. People are attacking everywhere. And Raneem was playing the same tactics. Give the player back, get the player back, but the player is not getting back anymore. And she lost from Amanda in last 16, by the way. So we get back and we start to develop the attacking game. More than at that time, I developed a lot in the attacking game because, as I said, like it's two different games. And I didn't like, if you don't watch a match, you don't know how to train for me. So physically, I went to the match and I said, the game become more attacking than it used to be more defensive. So it's not about playing the best length; it's also to move the corners.
Yeah.
And then I remember that we worked a lot in attacking and how to take the ball short because in Haitham it's very rare to someone box you and you counter drop, for example.
Yeah.
It's very rare because it's very hard and very risky. So you're able to in juniors you have to get it like as much as you can. Yeah, you can drop like a moving drop, but winner drop is very unusual.
Yeah.
So we go back to the Egypt. Actually, we have fun in this in TUC. We like visit everything. We go shows. As you know, like I try to relax and before I start to planning. So when I go back, I just develop a lot in attacking game because I remember after TUC it was Windy City and Rani win the city. So she lost in last 16. She exited round 1 in Qatar. She lost round 16 in TUC and she went and win the Chicago tournament. It's just a change of tactics. And if the player is flexible to make the coach, at the end, the difference between, I would say, the coach and training is so different. The coach has a final vision. The trainer is training you to improve something. So it's so different.
Yeah.
Like some people think like he's a coach. I would say I was in the same situation. I wasn't a coach at this time. Maybe you're a very good trainer, but you don't have the final vision. So if you train someone, yeah, it's so different between training. Like that Ramy Ashour told me one day. There's the feeder, there's a trainer, there is a coach.
Yeah.
So feeding, he's just like a ball machine, like hit hard, fast. Like trainer, he knows, but not all around the everything. The coach, he understands psychology, the planning, what is the final output from this player. It's not about training over drive and volley. It's about the what you hit, what you next, what is the final. Then you see the player as a complete player. When you see that, I believe that you're a coach.
Brilliant. That's an absolutely fantastic way of looking at it. It's sort of just integrating every single area of the game, isn't it? I guess
Yeah.
my thought went to, yeah, that's why you have a goalkeeping coach in the football team and you have a
Yes.
defense and an attack, but then you have the
Yes.
manager, like that we call it a manager, but it's it's the head coach effectively, isn't it, who puts all the pieces together. So
Yes.
it's a great way to put it.
And even
Wow.
in tennis, you find like the head coach have a team. They are amazing players. Most of them is world number 1 or something. They're not like it's not like he's a head coach and they do nothing. They do a lot of great job.
Yeah.
But the head coach have more experience and he see the final result. He want to play. In soccer is very obvious. This coach is playing defensive. This was the attacking. He's playing try to play in the middle. So he has a philosophy and he has the team chemistry has to move in different ways. So he get the chemistry inside the team. In squash, you have to have this player what you want from him. It's not attacking for attacking.
Yeah.
If he doesn't have it, you don't have to waste your time in it.
Yeah.
I love that. I have two thoughts based on some of what you've been saying.
Okay.
One of them you mentioned Ramy. So one line of thinking is around Ramy and kind of what Ramy obviously being this artistic sort of free spirited player. What did Ramy teach you? You already shared one really interesting story from there. And how did you support Ramy, kind of given his personality and his unique style of playing and his unique technique and his body issues over the years as well?
Yes. About his body, like I was there when Ramy injured, by the way, because we are the same generation. Ramy
Hmm.
is the same club and he's older than me 5 months. I saw his injuries live.
Hmm.
So yeah, Ramy is very like to speak about Ramy, he's the best, the hardest like player I ever seen training in my life.
Hmm.
People think that artistic coming from his skill only. Actually, his mental side is so strong. Ramy is freaking training, like training. If he feel like one day, I feel he train hard and I slow down the pace a little bit to make it like convenient, I would say, it will be a big fight. Like the skill is not enough. I don't believe that Messi is only skillful. He's freaking hard work.
Yeah.
But the same as Ramy. But back to Ramy. Ramy Ashour is like I learn a lot of him in terms of movement. Ramy was amazing in his first step in from the tee, especially on the volleys. That's like something like unique you can learn from Ramy. Ramy is like the fastest player that he can take volley ever plays the sport, I would say.
Mm.
Like in his peak, of course. Like some like with more injuries when the end of the career is different. But I mean, to compete with Ramy in the terms of volleys, it's very hard. I remember like Nick used to and James for sure. They the only way to play is to slow down the pace. I don't think of course they change in high pace, but they will mix up the pace to slow it down. Because of course Mohamed Shorbagy compete with Ramy a lot and he tried to compete with a high pace, but I feel still with the amazing of shot selection and shot quality, I feel like Ramy at this time was having advantage. We are lucky to like see them in their both in their peak playing too much, I would
Mm.
say, because Muhammad is one of the smartest player I ever seen. Like he have an answer for everything. Even like even with Rami, even with Shabana, even with anybody, like we see Muhammad Shorbagy is one of the greatest player in the history of the sport. He's very smart. But I learned from Rami a lot of things, not only movement, mentally, how he managed. I remember that Rami forgot about the score. I think like 90% of the players don't know this, but I mean, sometimes Rami asked me about the score during the game, and he said the ref is saying the score right. I said yes, it's right. Something wrong. Like he's A3, he's in his own world. He's focused in everything, and when he's like when he's like think about like the squash perspective, he think about everything in detail inside. With Rami, I remember when I used to coach him, it's not like a normal player that you go and speak. You with Rami, you have to say 2 words and say it twice, and that's it, and
Mm.
give him the space. It's not traditional that you speak like you do this and you do this and you do this. You have to choose your 2 words. So when he comes out, I give him his time. I just say 2 words. I go back.
What would those words be? Like something technical, tactical, like
Yeah,
example of
it's like in terms of uh, Rami never give up, never give up. So you don't have to tell him like you didn't do your best because he's running everywhere. He's diving here. So he's killing himself, right? Like he always have very confidence in himself, even in bad situation. That's why even like with Greg is A3 down, you find the crime coming back. He's having the confidence, and also as I said, like he focused too much on details. Like he knows what is going on. I just tell him how to solve the puzzle, help him to think. Okay, Rami, like take care. You have to be more aware of what is both. When it happened, like just hold him a little bit. Or for example, you have to do the lift more. He's waiting for your cross or whatever. Like keep the line in the same line. Like it's something very simple that he might help him.
two very simple sentences, pointers, and then leave him to his own.
Leave it alone. He like like that the person. Like some people like is very smart inside the court that they know what's going on and they need some tips to help them to solve the puzzle more than Like I know that traditionally I will have to speak more. I'm not like, to be honest, in coaching, I don't speak a lot. I speak for 30 seconds. I believe that more than that, he would not take it over. I want the words that I say, it click his head. Because if I speak like 2 minutes, I don't believe you will get the 2 minutes. You just will focus on few parts. So I try to say the few parts.
I like it. I love it. And you mentioned one thing about Ramy as well, about how Ramy was kind of always in the zone, and he sort of got into his own zone and his own state of flow almost.
Yeah.
How did you how did you did you assist Ramy in that at all, or and with other players who maybe weren't quite as naturally engaged, maybe as say he was? How did you support players to get into that state? And we've had this conversation in the past, Laura and I, with some other folks about, you know, for some people, getting into that state means, like Sarah Fitzgerald, for example, she's like she had
Yeah.
absolutely no thought in her mind when she would get into that state. But for Ramy, you were saying Ramy was very focused on the details, and maybe he'd be thinking about, all the specifics, things, or whatever it might be. How did you support players, and did you find your players have different approaches to get into that state?
Yeah, like the word like Rami at the end, like he knows his game very well, right? As
Mhm.
Laura, as Raneem, as Nick, all the big name, Muhammad, they know the type of game they suit him, right? Like I mean, when someone in the top come to me, like it's very hard to teach him from the beginning how to hit the shot. Like is very like unusual. Maybe tips and tricks, yeah, maybe change a little bit, but not massively change. But I mean, in terms of the players when they go through their career back to from 20s to top 10 to top 3, at the end, as I said, like what type of game he has to play. If the player know what type of game is he's going to play, he would be faster toward learning what you're trying to say. If it's just he learning the drive for the drive, or the cross for the cross, or drop for drop, I don't think he will reach the his full potential, because
Mhm.
he don't see in your eyes. He just see the shots, but it didn't click his eyes yet. So it
Mhm.
become complete when the player understand what you're trying to reach. It's not about the shot; it's about the type of game you're gonna play.
Yes, and this is your trainer versus coach versus
Yes, exactly,
leader.
exactly, exactly. That's what I believe. Some people will say, "No, you're wrong." Wrong. I don't mind. Like
Yeah.
if you disagree with me, you disagree. It's fine.
Yeah.
Well, it seems like it's a natural evolution of a coach, right? You start off where maybe
Yeah,
you're teaching a skill, and then you teach people skills, and then you learn how to integrate the skills, and you show them what their game should look like based on their strengths, their personality, and have
exactly.
a robust vision at the end of the day that they can aspire towards. Uh,
Because at this time, I was Rami. I wasn't a coach at that time. By the way, I
mm,
have to be honest with myself as well. I helped him. I believe I helped him a lot, but he was word number one when I started with him. So I would say I was trainer. Maybe by the end of the career, I become a coach, right?
mm,
At my end of career was Rami, I would say,
yes.
because later we split, right? So at the end of career, I become a coach. But I mean, at the beginning, I was a trainer, and I'm happy that I take the step by step. I'm having patience. So as more and towards the right things, like
Mm,
training, like so nobody to understand you wrong. Trainers is not that I'm better than them or they better than me. No, they are a great person. They great coaches. They become a great coach if they learn more. Like I learn every day. I like open my like I wouldn't say like I achieve, so I stop watching. I watch every single day. I try
mm,
to think what they develop, what they change. I try to visualize everything in my head. I can tell which coach training this player through his way of playing.
mm,
So I
Yes.
mean, so I mean, the coach you can see the way of they play. There is some similarities of the players. The so for example, if the person coach someone, I know the technique of his swing, so I can get it that he. If Rod is there, I know his movement and swing. If Rob is there, I can tell.
Yeah.
I can tell for the shape that they train.
Yeah. I think what's interesting is we've spoken to a few coaches now, haven't we? I had, and it's been so interesting because I mean we've spoken to Rod, we've spoken to DP, we've spoken to yourself. We've had we've had really different views. Graham Williams was also on as well. He
Yeah.
had some really interesting views on the psychology side of kind of messing people's heads up during training, which was really interesting. And I think the interesting thing that you and DP have also said in common is if it's not my way and it's not work and it's not how I would coach it, but it's working, go for it.
Go for it.
Whereas the like maybe more Rod's mindset is like, this is how you hit a ball, and kind of said to me, if you'd have hit a ball like the way that I teach you to hit a ball, you'd have been a better player. And he genuinely believed that. And that's obviously his opinion and is entitled to it. I don't believe it because I think that maybe he didn't see me when I first started at 15 and the distance. He just looks at the end product and goes, well, you could have been a bit better there or there or there. But I think it's great. And I guess it leads me on to probably one of my my last questions, which links into that a little bit. So when I text Raneem and I was like, Haitham's coming on the podcast, give me some questions that might be interesting for the viewers. And she was like, ask him about when he first started coaching, he wasn't the most positive of coaches. He was sometimes quite critical and sometimes a little bit negative. But by the end of the career path with Raneem particularly, obviously she's just looking at it from hers, he was one of the most positive. Couldn't be any more positive and encouraging and everything like that. So I was just wondering, thought it was a really interesting question maybe for some young coaches out there who are looking to coach people who find it really hard to kind of give credit to the player or maybe look at the negative side. We could be better at this, better at that. How did you evolve as a coach from that, what Raneem said early on, right through to the way she said when you were finishing?
As I told you, there's a difference between trainer and coach, right?
Yeah.
It's part of it, right? I have to say things because the player is like emotional. So if you tell him, you can say it was different ways. If you said that's bad, it hits. If you said we have to work on this, it hit a different way.
Yeah.
So I say both I said it the same word, like it's the same meaning, but different word, right? So I would say I'm a person that I work on the weakest and I try to improve the good things. But I mean, in terms of the coach, is his job is to strengthen the weakness and improve the type of game we're playing. So at that time, I was focused too much about what's bad.
Yeah.
What is the weakness? So I always focus that's wrong, that's wrong, that's wrong, that's wrong. So sometimes it hit people that's too negative. I what I'm doing right at the end. So but I'm happy with this. Like all my players that they have patience in me and believe. To be honest, because at that time maybe I was so super negative. In my inside, I would say I was so positive about it because if we fix this, the result will come.
Yes.
But in the player perspective, he doesn't like he see everything wrong in me. so I mean, nowadays when I experience, I try to learn. So when people say, hi, something negative, I work on myself as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I try to.
do you do that by just learning and feedback from the player, or do you read certain books or listen to certain podcasts? What sort of how do you develop yourself in that way?
I would say the most like affected me to hear words. So when they say, if you say it like for Ramy, tell me before, if you say it different, it would be better. So I understand the word. Then I try to change. And by experience with you acting with the players, you find it working.
Yeah.
And by time you change your personality already.
Yeah.
Like the more you toward this, you become very positive.
Yeah.
Secondly, to be honest, like back to coach and trainer, in young ages, you're desperate to get the results.
Yeah, you're putting your name to a player as well.
Yes,
You kind of want to prove, don't you? You're trying to prove more to more people
exactly.
maybe when you're younger as well. I think one of the things that helped me, just for anyone listening as I've transitioned into coaching, is I was always DP would say to me, right, go away, work on this. Danny and I would work on it for say a week or two. We'd go back for another session. And he would kind of go, looks good, right, now we're going to do this. And it used to drive me crazy because I'd go, do you know how many hours I've spent on that in the last 2 weeks? And you've just gone, right, looks good, next thing. And so as a coach, I'm really conscious of going, that's brilliant. You've done amazing at getting that in your
Yeah,
game, because it used to drive me bonkers that the whole process was overlooked and now we can just move on to the next thing. So
yeah.
that's what you're saying.
Because I speak about, I'm rational, so I speak without emotions, and it's hit the player badly. But I solve it. Like, thanks God, I solve it. But I mean, of course, it take me time to understand. Like, as I said, patience and learning. I learn every day. If you say something, it doesn't, like, I take it as a positive side. I have to work on this. In terms, like, people say, "Oh, he's negative," means like it's bad. I would say I would take it that's something I have to work on.
Yeah.
Like, so by experience, you have to evolve like the player as a coach to try to be the best out of yourself. As the player has to try to be the best out of himself.
Yeah.
And it's both ways. You learn from the player as you teach them. Of course, you teach them more than you learn by in older ages. But I mean, at the beginning, I would say it was equal.
Yeah.
Like, I learn from him, and I learn because even for like Laura now as a like coach, it's two different roles. It's, even I understand as a player, it doesn't mean that he understands like I understand it.
Yeah.
So as a player, is he know how to do his way, but you don't know how to do it other ways. We are different characters and different types. So if
Yeah.
if I am one dimensional, I teach him my way. I don't feel like it will fit every single person. But if you can be flexible in ways, then you can like open your mind to fit different players.
Mhm.
Because I can't teach someone to play like Ramy or Raneem. He has to be his own self at the end. You can learn from them, yes. You definitely learn a lot from them. Could Does it fit you? That's the question.
Yeah. Yeah, and one question on my mind actually going there's
Yeah,
something that we were talking about earlier that's kind of stuck in the back of my mind, which ties in directly with what you're speaking about now. And we spoke about sort of two different types of technique. Like we on average, we were saying you had mentioned there's like the Marwan and the Gohar, which are the more kind of structured technique and
yeah,
so on. And then you might have someone who's a bit more fluid, a bit more dynamic with their technique. And sometimes it's in my videos, sometimes on YouTube, I always talk about disruption. And I'm not married to one type of technique. I like
yeah.
variation. I like nuance. I like, dropping the wrist sometimes or hitting the ball this way other times, et cetera, et cetera. And I remember there are conversations I've had with coaches and they're like, man, what do you stop saying that stuff? Because then the kids are coming and they're like, oh, I can drop my wrist here and I can do this and so on and so forth. My question for you was around, if we just kind of think of maybe the two extremes, one would be the more kind of English structured technique, one would be a slightly more dynamic technique, we'll say. What are some of the pros and cons to each of them? And do you feel like there's a way that it should be built? And what I mean by that is there's one family, for instance, now that I coach that is Egyptian origin, and when they go to Egypt and they train, the coaches are like, no, you don't change the swing. They have to swing this way and they're U11. And then when they get to U13, then you swing this way. Then when you get to U15, then you can change the swing to this for reasons around the physicality and the strength and the body and so on and so forth. I'm curious. I've
Okay.
said a lot there, but I'm curious to kind of hear your thoughts on.
Yeah, my thought about the swing in young ages, I don't teach the same as I teach in PSA, I would say.
Mhm.
Because the amount of variation I can give, it sometimes getting confused.
Yes.
What, right? and they don't understand that copying a swing is not like mean that you copy the shot. Like the swing, it doesn't matter which swing. I would say, uh, if I teach someone, I would teach him the English way.
At a young
And
age.
of course,
Yes.
yeah, it is the right swing. I would say, like, it is the right swing, right? So I can say it's not right or wrong, but I mean that 90% of the squash players, if they use this technique, will succeed.
Yeah.
If I teach him drop the wrist and stuff like that, it might be dodgy. Like, yes. So if like, I would say I want the most tactical, the coaches, technical, especially in Egypt. Like, I focus in technique. A lot of coaches don't focus in technique at all, or movement. They're all fluent. So the problem is, if you teach someone at the beginning, I would teach him the traditional like techniques, and if he has the skill to be flexible and do this and do this, go with them. But at the beginning, if I teach him a bad like fluent technique and the quality of shot is bad, now at age 17 or 18, you have to change your swing, which is harder job, which is actually like this entertainment, because I changed the swing and the photo of Raneem at age 21. Like, Raneem used to tin a lot. So that's a negative side, right? So I mean, so I mean, I wasn't think about that skill, because you have the skill. She can shoot like 15x, but she can also like 10, 9. Like, that's a lot of average. So we changed a lot of technique, and so I mean, it's not the bad technique, but I feel it's not the traditional technique. So sometimes the errors is a lot. I can't teach someone like what Ramy is doing, because he's very skillful. He's like skillful from God. It's not like a man development. No, it's like skill from God. Amr Shaban is the same. I can't take it like that. The example that I build my players. No,
Yeah.
like this guys came with massive skill by nature. Like, same as Messi or these guys. Like, you can't teach to do this. Like, it's impossible.
Yeah.
So if I teach, I would teach the English technique.
Yeah.
Like, or like that's the book. The book say like this. You should do like this. Amr Shabana's technique is ideal for anyone who wants to start to squash. Like, I would say, you find Janshar Khan, like, very amazing technique with open racket face, wrist is up, everything is. That's a good technique.
Yeah.
The other is amazing technique, but there for some player that can do this. You can teach like someone like Mostafa Hassan play that flicking cross with you. When the shot is behind you, hit flick across with your wrist and hit it wide. That's impossible, right? That's skill. That's maybe I'm skillful to do it, but others wouldn't do it. You will hit the middle of the court, then you lose. And so I mean, timing and position and skill, like the tradition swing, that the type of the things that I teach you in the early ages. Then if the person is skillful and he's trying to like learn more, and I feel like his wrist is flexible, his hand is flexible, yeah, teach him more. But at the beginning, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
Because it's too risky.
Yeah.
And at the end, at the age 17, even he didn't achieve a lot, and his defense swing, and he understand the position, the timing, and the swing, actually he can evolve and he be a world champion. Is no problem. I used to speak with Nick, and I know that Nick Prime was a teen junior career. So, but because the fundamental was good and he's a solid character, he make it to the world number 1 and one of the most achieving person like in England.
Yeah. I think it was the same with my own career. Never won a British Junior Open or a World Junior Championships, but went on to kind of as well. I also think the talent comes also from like the work ethic. So I was saying this to Raneem as well, and I've said it on previous podcasts. Like one of my biggest talents was my work ethic and my ability to stay a lot longer than other people in terms of like daily training. So I think for people listening, it's always a good reminder that talent isn't always whether you can hit a nick. It's whether or not you can listen to a coach, learn, stay open-minded, train hard every day, keep taking feedback, bounce, all of those little things. So
100%. Because sometimes, like I always say here in the States, sometimes it's unfair, the system here in the States. Because at age 17, you have to be in your peak to get recruited by universities. Some people, that's not their peak because they will peak later. They become better played than the people that get recruited.
Yeah.
But later on.
Yeah. Haitham, it's been brilliant. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
So looking forward to everybody hearing it.
Yeah, it was amazing. I really enjoy it.
Yes. Thank you so much, Haitham.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Quick interruption, everyone. Just for a minute, I promise. Have you ever felt stuck in your squash? Are you training hard, but you're not sure if you're working on the right things to actually get better under pressure?
That's exactly why I created a new online coaching community. Unlike other programs that give you just drills, we give you a framework so you know exactly what to work on, why it matters, and how to hold up in real matches.
Whether it's finally breaking through a plateau, structuring your solo practice, or joining us live each month for group coaching, this community is designed to take the guesswork out of improvement. If this resonates with you, please send me an email at ahad@arperformance.com. I will personally help you see if it's the right fit. Thanks for listening to Between the Lines, where world-class insight fuels the squash journey that never ends. If today's episode helped you grow, please share it with someone in your squash circle and join our community online. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and stay in the rally.